Tell me if you've ever had this experience you wait for years, rooting for a TV couple, holding on to every stolen glance, every almost kiss only for their big romance to finally happen, and it feels flat, anti-climactic, like waiting in line for a roller coaster only to realize the ride is a kiddie train. That's exactly how so many of us felt watching Maggie and Cal in Sullivan's Crossing Season 3. Now, before you throw tomatoes at me, let's be honest here. Weren't we all hyped for Maggie and Cal since day one? The tortured doctor running from her past? The rugged yet sensitive small town guy who always shows up when she needs him. It had all the makings of an epic TV romance. And yet, when the moment finally came, instead of fireworks we got fizzling sparklers. Why? Because their relationship this season wasn't just complicated, it was suffocating. But here's the kicker. Just when fans were starting to give up on Maggie and Cal, the writers dropped a nuclear-level twist in the finale that might completely redeem this worst couple status. And yes, I'm talking about Liam, the so-called ex, who turns out to be something far more shocking, Maggie's secret husband. Wait, what husband? Exactly. My jaw hit the floor too. But let's slow down, because if we're going to unravel how Maggie and Cal can be redeemed or ruined forever, we need to rewind and expose the cracks that have been there from the very beginning. Think about it. Their relationship this season was supposed to be the heart of the show, yet it felt more like a tug-of war where both sides were losing. Cal wanted Maggie to move in with him, to commit, to make promises about her future. Sweet, right, wrong. Because Maggie was grieving raw and reeling from a stress-induced miscarriage. And instead of standing beside her, Cal was practically dragging her forward before she'd even found her footing. Let me ask you this, have you ever been in a relationship where the timing was just off? Where love was there, but every conversation turned into a negotiation, every hug felt heavy with expectations. That's Maggie and Cal in Season 3. And it was painful to watch. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or rather, the husband in the finale, Liam. Remember when his name first came up earlier in the season? It was brushed off like some casual ex, something Cal should definitely not worry about. But fast forward to the final moments, and boom, Maggie drops the truth like a bomb. Liam isn't just her past, he's her husband. Which means Maggie hasn't just been hiding secrets from Cal, she's been hiding secrets from all of us. Here's where it gets juicy. Could Liam's reveal actually be the saving grace for Maggie and Cal's relationship? Sounds insane, right? But sometimes, couples need to break apart completely before they can rebuild into something real. And this twist gives the writers the perfect excuse to tear them down to the studs. Now, let's address the pain point. The thing that has fans buzzing all over social media. Did Maggie and Cal's romance fail because of bad writing? Or because of who these characters truly are? Some people argue the writers forced them together too quickly, skipping the organic growth they needed. Others claim the relationship makes sense. Maggie is messy, Cal is stubborn, and together they're doomed until they figure themselves out. Personally, I think it's both. And that's what makes this so controversial. Because let's be real, Maggie and Cal were supposed to be Sullivan's Crossing's golden couple. Instead, they've turned into the most divisive pair on the show. Half the fandom is still clinging to their chemistry, begging for a redemption arc. The other half is ready to toss them into the failed TV couples trash bin. But here's the thing, secrets are fuel. And this Liam bombshell, it's not just fuel, it's dynamite. And if the writers are bold enough, they could use it to rebuild Maggie and Cal into a couple worth rooting for again. But before we dive deeper into the forbidden knowledge of how Liam changes everything, let me pause here and ask you, because your opinion is what makes this channel alive, do you honestly think Maggie and Cal deserve redemption? Or should Maggie cut ties and walk away for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I guarantee this is going to split the room. And while you're at it, listen. If you're hooked right now, if you love pulling apart storylines and exposing the hidden cracks like this, you absolutely need to hit that subscribe button right now. Because the deeper we go, the crazier these reveals get, and trust me, you don't want to be the one catching up after the fact. Alright, so, back to the secrets the writers don't want us to notice. Why does Maggie keep Liam's existence hidden until now? Why drop it at the exact moment she and Cal finally seem to reconcile? It's not sloppy writing, it's deliberate. And here's where the forbidden knowledge comes in. Maggie's secret marriage doesn't just complicate her romance with Cal, it reframes her entire character arc from Season 1 to now. Think about it. All that push and pull about committing to Cal, all the hesitation, It wasn't just grief or fear or timing. It was because she was still tethered to Liam. She was never truly free. And here's the twisted part: Cal had hints. Tiny ones. Remember when he got insecure about Maggie's connection to her work, and Liam's name popped up? He focused on her career instead of the guy. Big mistake. He should have been paying attention to Liam all along. So here's the $1,000,000 question. And it's one I want you all to wrestle with while we go deeper. Was Maggie protecting herself? Or was she protecting Liam? And what does that say about her so-called love for Cal? We'll get into that, but first, let's talk about the irony of all ironies. The couple that was supposed to represent healing and homecoming may now only survive if they completely break apart. Because sometimes, the only way forward is through destruction. Here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud, but we all know deep down. Maggie's secret marriage to Liam doesn't just shake up her love life. It exposes who she really is. Because if you think about it, this twist has been hiding in plain sight since season 1. Let me explain. Maggie's always been torn between two worlds: the ambitious surgeon chasing perfection and the vulnerable woman running from pain. And yet, every time Cal asked her to step forward, she froze. We chalked it up to grief, to trauma, to timing. But what if the truth is simpler and darker? She couldn't commit because she was never actually free. Liam wasn't just an ex. He was the ghost she never buried. Now, let me hit you with a theory so wild it might actually make sense. What if Liam isn't just Maggie's husband, but her unfinished story? Think about it. Why else would the writers drop his name casually mid-season, only to explode it in the finale? It's classic foreshadowing. The forbidden knowledge here is that Maggie's been living a double life, even if she didn't mean to. And Cal? He's been building a future with someone whose past was still legally and emotionally locked. Let me ask you something. How would you feel if the person you were ready to move in with suddenly confessed, "Oh, by the way, I'm married"? Would you forgive them? Or would you walk away without looking back? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments. Because I guarantee this is going to split people into two camps. And here's where it gets even juicier: Cal's reaction. You remember all season how he pushed Maggie to live with him, to commit, to promise she wouldn't regret giving up surgery. He's been trying to secure a future while she was still tied to the past. That's not just ironic. It's tragic. And if you really think about it, it makes Cal look less like a perfect boyfriend and more like a man in denial. But hold on, let's not roast Cal too much here, because this twist could also be the making of his character. For 3 seasons, Cal's been the steady rock, the guy who always knows who he is and what he wants. But maybe, just maybe, this betrayal forces him to confront what he actually needs, instead of just waiting for Maggie to figure herself out. And let's be real. Don't we kind of want to see Cal go through a messy arc for once?